Me, I've gone grey. I blame it on the parents. I was just looking through my footage of my mum when she got out of hospital, where she couldn't get up the stairs yet, and she was going ape shit. I think, like, I think it was because she's sleeping up here. My dad was downstairs, and he was in hospital, and then he come out and he was downstairs, and she was getting more lunaticy like up and downstairs checking on him, and lunaticy, and then she's upstairs, and he sleeps upstairs now. But when they were apart, I think it really got to her to a certain extent. That's the power of love. She was, yeah, she'd say I'd do it. She's anything, yeah. Anyway, that's under the bridge. That's under the bridge. That's under the bridge. Thank fuck for that. Yeah, we turned a corner. Every day's a new learning curve, and you're learning and learning. Anyway, inspired by first dates, I just wanted to do a quick adept wisdomful counsel to anybody that's probably like in your teenage, you haven't had your first relationship, and you're going into it, and like people used to get married sometimes their first. Don't knock every word I say is like total enlightenment, but firsts, in some cases they can just be feel like they're a bit fabricated somehow by organised society of some next level. Like, I know we've all heard of Freemasonry, haven't we? But if you're in a relationship and you shouldn't be in that relationship, because firstly it was dark in the club and I'll give you my number, and then secondly that was a date, and it was a date, and I said, can I have some pajamas, because I was that naive and I was a bit immature as a 20-year-old. Can I get some pajamas please? I just want to sleep over because my mum's a nutter anyway, she just drives me up the wall and I haven't got any freedom. So we do things like that. That's how my mum was that day. But then they sort of like rape your leg, and then it's like pheromones, the most addictive thing on the planet. As long as and if someone's got another substance in them that you hadn't even heard of and didn't know that I think it's the second most addictive substance on the planet. You wouldn't be to know, would you? And you end up in a relationship just to waste time. You say, why are they important? They're important and they're blessings, but they're a big waste of time. Important blessings, big waste of time, because you think there's something wrong with you because intimacy ain't that great, because you can't trust someone, because you don't trust them, and then you spend most of your time trying to change that person. What's the point of that? We live and learn, but they're blessings as well. Because at that time, it's funny because somebody come into my world later down the track that I felt was part of that organised fabric. Because I say organised. Why do you say organised in a relationship? I don't know, but 10 years down the track, this 10-year-old woman is like shouting and bollocking outside a theatre club. What's that all about? What is she doing this for a decade down the track? I saw her on the street only last week and she was really polite as bye to me on my own, and my ones. And then she's screaming and shouting outside a theatre pub. You do the math, don't you? And then a couple of weeks after that, she's snatching a mic off me in another pub. And you're going, nah, that was fabricated. That was somehow organised, some sort of shit. Anyway, I didn't say a single word in opposition to it because I thought, what the fuck was that? That's organised society around you. And I was nothing but good to that person. I used to pay for that person to go all over the place and kept down a job and whatever. And it was what it was. Big waste of time. If you're going to be jumping, you're going to be sabotaging me down the track for what exactly? When I used to, I think I was nothing but good to you. Often trying to change you a lot and screaming and bollocking myself. Change. But it's quite funny. It's like they say, being a lesbian's cursed, and I would concur that I don't think it's like a good tale for some bloodlines, because it's like she instigated physical violence because I was hysterical. And so it's like one of them ones. And then it was like, I grabbed her by the hair and went, what the fuck? What? And that was all I did. And then she ran and she put mascara around her eye. And went, look what you did. I was like, what the fuck is this lunatic on? Anyway, down the track, it would transpire that I got with an even bigger lunatic that was into self-harming and hitting her head against the wall. She's a lovely person. I got on a lot better with that person. We only had one argument in the space of 2 years, living on together, working together, playing together, And it's like a friend before that. The point is, pretty 99.9% she gave herself a back eye, as in like Fight Club fame. And I paid for that through the nose in like, oh shit, I just lost my Teo. My drum and bass Teo. I think that was my Teo you've just run off with, because I just can't be part of that if you're part of that, given the extreme nature of betrayal that I'm perceiving, and the fact that it was probably a bigger than a Ross and Rachel one on the break, and the penny only dropped later. I'm such a hindsight person. It's like I'm really just and this is what the moral of the story is: enlightenment. We're going about our Teos, and we're not even. The hindsight is a beautiful thing. And someone said, you should really watch who you get with. And it's like, not really, because they're all lessons and they're all blessings. And they get you to a certain place that will be beyond your imagination. And like, the more you retreat and find your kingdom within heaven is the most important thing. And this is what I was getting at. First dates, I'm just being the counsel to the unwise, is autonomy is the most important thing in your spiritual abundance wealth blanket. It become, and that's the most expensive commodity. Actual your own autonomy, not to have this perceived perception that is organising around you of a potentially malevolent, misogynistic, money invested, or any other nature. Now, ain't that some shit? Because I don't think every demographic of person or person that I'm reaching out to or talking to has that same level of organisation around you, or has been earmarked somehow since even maybe the age of 3 and first day at nursery. Now that sounds like some deep shit. What are you talking about, Laura? Oh, it's just because at first day at nursery I spent the day on my own in a cloakroom with, like, isolated, and it's my first memory because my mum's anxiety, I think, was spilling out all over me, so I just kicked off and went, nah, I didn't want to go in, and then kicked the teacher, Mrs. Baker. And it's like, okay, isolation is my treatment. And it went on quite a lot of episodes where I'm just always doing lines outside a headmaster's office, terrified, because mostly just for talking and distracting. But it was a conscious decision, and I even remember that about my younger self, consciously not wanting to listen to things that I knew were not relevant to me, and like having that attention deficit, but actually by design. Some would say that's just a bad kid, but actually no, it's a spiritually intuit kid, they say nowadays. Go figure that one. Or you don't want to listen because you don't want to listen because I know what they're teaching me is not relevant to me, because I'm not going to be a figures and numbers person in a mathematical sense, or employ any of the mathematical breakdowns of stuff. That's not going to be in my particular design, though I love all the sacred geometry, and I love all this perception of like seeing beyond the beyond, and all this material that I'm actually finding by grand design on YouTube, because it's what we gravitate to in sort of more of an autistic wonderment nature rather than a literal breaking down nature like other human beings do. Like, don't even get me on algebra. That my brain just does not bend in that way to actually understand any of it on paper. So it's like, it is what it is, right? So we know that even at, I think, at age 7, 8, 9. Anyway, you get isolated a lot. Autonomy. You go towards stages after school, then it's like other things are coming about, transpiring. Because you come from the squarest homes that don't do drugs, or say that, Lear bets and all that, and all the psyche. This is what I was getting onto this as well. The psyche, the breakdown, the enlightenment. Autonomy is the most important thing. You just want to operate from a place of autonomy, perceptionally. Because it starts to feel organised around you, around theatres. And then it's like, that's sort of like when you was talking about breakdown, it's like, what is it? And then what is it if you keep getting wrong attention from police and malevolence? They think they've got your number. They think that we know your character, but they don't. That's what profiling people is, just pointless, especially if that person once upon a time aspired to be like, oh, part of the theatrical or film world. Once upon a time, doesn't, the autonomy is most important to me now. So do I even want that? Don't even know if I do. The point is that perceived manipulation going on around is like a big deal, because the actor, they say, is somewhat already more spiritually advanced, because they desire a place on that spot, and thus they are the blank canvas, because they study Stanislavski about being the blank canvas and drawing from past or future emotional experiences to create the emotion, blah blah blah. The little bit basic training that I did before deciding that no, I'm not ready for these people, because I've spent enough time being an ape or a frog at primary school, and actually you making me do commedia dell'arte and making me be an ape around is just like not conducive to my I've just found half a pill of ecstasy rave self. And because I'm only drinking for the first time in the lunch break 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, it's fucking my brain chemistry, and I don't want to stand on the stage at all, actually, at this point in my life. Fuck this, that. I was this entrance to theatre school. Just blew it off 2 weeks before the course was up, because I didn't want to do commedia dell'arte. At least I'm true to thine authentic self, is it? So it could deem that a waste of time. But no, I like just being true to the emotion that you feel at any given time. Autonomy. Blog. Done. 10 minutes.